Hey gang, a long time ago I remember seeing the great Danny Gatton in a video called Strictly Rhythm. He did this thing right off the bat in lesson 1 called the two-note wonder. Totally blew me away. We're going to check it out coming right up. Before his untimely death in 1994, Danny Gatton was probably the best guitarist that you never heard of. He was known as the Telemaster, the world's greatest unknown guitarist, and also as the Humbler for his ability to beat other guitarists in head-cutting duels. He was just an amazing player, and if you haven't heard him, you really ought to check him out. The video starts out with this blues jam, and it just sounds awesome. He's playing chords all over the place. And afterward, he explains what he's doing, and he says, I call it the little two-note wonder, a little thing that fits everything. I had to know what it was. The problem was that it was a borrowed VHS tape without tabs, so the quality wasn't there, and it had nothing to go on. And he was playing it on the nuttiest Telecaster that you ever saw. It was all pearloid, including the fretboard, so it was really hard to see anything. But he was playing a G blues, and he did mention the notes F and B. So let's have a look. Here are B and F, and here's a full G7 chord. So what are the B and the F notes? Well, if G is the 1, then we have B as the 3rd, D as the 5th, and F as the flatted 7th. Let's fill in the rest of the notes here. So what we're doing here is we're just playing these two notes for the G. Wait, we only play two notes and we get the G7 chord? How does that work? Well, I'm going to show you in a little bit with a demo, and I'm going to show you it totally works. But before we go there, let's cover the 4 chord and the 5 chord in the G blues, the C7 and the D7, and here's where the real magic comes in. All right, here's a C7 chord. Now check this out. If we move the two notes from the G7 down exactly 1 fret, we match on the C7. But what are those notes? Let's see. C is the 1st, E is the 3rd, G is the 5th, and B flat is the flatted 7th. Amazing, we get the same 3 and 7 again. Now the strings are reversed, but again, it's the 3 and the 7 of the C7 chord. And of course, the D7 works exactly the same way. Let's have a look. All right, here is the D7 chord. The D is the 1st, the F sharp is the 3rd, the A is the 5th, the C is the flatted 7th. Now let's take that G7 two-note wonder and move it up 1 fret. Voila, you've got the D7 two-note wonder. Amazingly simple. So that's it for the basics of the two-note wonder. You start on a G for the G7. You move down just 1 fret, exactly same shape for the C7. And then for the D7, you move up exactly 1 fret and keep the same shape. Let's see how it works on a basic 12-bar blues. See what I mean? Magic. Fits right in the pocket, totally appropriate for the song. Sure, it's a bit simple, but you can see there's scope for jazzing it up a bit and adding different things. More on that later. First, let's talk about why it works. There's no root in the chord. There's no G. How the heck does that work? Well, here's the idea. There's other musicians in the band, and not playing the G allows them to be a little bit more free as well, and it opens up the mix a little bit more. Being able to play parts of a chord, not the whole thing, is really important because it helps to keep everything from getting muddy. That's the first thing. The other question is, why are we playing the 3rd and the flatted 7th? The 3rd is the note that helps determine whether the chord is a major or the minor, so it's really important. And the flatted 7th, well, that's really the spice in the blues. It's the tension note that puts everything together. It gives blues its little edge. And believe it or not, the trick gets even better. let's have a look when we choose the root of the G as being on the A string instead of the E string. Here's the G7, and the third and the flatted seventh, and here's the C7, and now here's the D7 chord. So you see the two-note wonder stays on the same strings, the D and the G strings. We just move the whole thing up a bit, and it can give our play some variety. Let's check it out. And there's so much more you can do with this. You can add notes to the chords like I was doing a little bit in the last example. You can play a jazz blues with ease, and you can even use it as the backbone of your soloing. The beauty of the two-note wonder is that it's simple, so very simple. And you know, the key to getting a lot better at guitar is to master simple things. You got this. Hey, if you like this video, I bet you're going to really love this video. Why don't you check it out, and we'll see you on down the road.